All right, everyone. Sanitation efforts are underway. The left is attempting, to do an autopsy of why they suck so badly, why they lost so catastrophically in the last election, and why the dude that they say is the dumb version of Adolf Hitler has higher approval at the same time in his second term than Barack Obama had, actually. They're trying to explain this. Mainly, they go to the massage parlor and they drink their matcha and stuff. They try to calm down. They try to step back from the ledge that they're about to jump off of at this point politically, which is happening. And they try to explain to themselves why it's not really their fault. No, 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 no. Orange Man has just fooled everyone. He's using mind control tactics. He's basically a mesmerist or something like that. No, no, no. It was just a handful of people within our party didn't really organize properly. They didn't really know what they were doing and stuff. It's not our fault as an actual political movement. It's not that the people have rejected our message soundly. It's just because of a few people that were in positions of power that made mistakes. Now, under some circumstances, this sort of explanation would be rational, but it's not rational when it comes to the liberal movement of today. You didn't have a few people making basic bitch errors. You had everyone in a leadership position doing crazy shit. Look, for example, no further than Pennsylvania. Kamala Harris people, this is after the disastrous debate performance with Biden, which also never should have been a thing. They should have known better. If they were going to cycle him out, they should have done it long before that debate happened. I have a feeling that was him stubbornly clinging to the ring of power more than anything else. With the whole MAGA hat incident, I think that he was trolling his own party in the end and saying, look, you can't force me to leave. Fucking deal with it. Do I stutter, bitch? In one sense, I can actually respect Joe Biden for that. I have to give him begrudging respect. But it wasn't just a few leaders. It was all of them. Pennsylvania. Kamala Harris's people attempt to coordinate with the state party in Pennsylvania. They could never even get through the goddamn phone lines. They had zero communication with the people in Pennsylvania. Hell just froze over. I have to actually give Kamala Harris credit because it appears that for once she wasn't responsible for the goddamn huge problem that was transpiring. It wouldn't have given her the election even if she had won Pennsylvania, but she wouldn't have been humiliated. She was humiliated. By the way, I'm less and less I'm less and less convinced that she's actually going to run for the presidency again. She's ruled out a gubernatorial run, although she is a politician, so, she might change her mind if Gavin decides to run for the presidency. It's possible. But she's more or less ruled that out, and honestly, I think she's like, yeah, I've taken my lumps. I've been the vice president of the United States, and I've been a senator, and I've been a top-level prosecutor. You've got no more hill. The only further mountain to climb would be the presidency. That's the only thing that you could do to carry yourself to a higher level. A senator arguably is more important than a governor in many ways anyway. So you would be downgrading effectively. And certainly the vice president is more powerful than a governor in many ways as well. Find it very funny. Robert Reich, though, is trying to sanitize the wokeness brand for the Democratic Party. And I've seen this concerted effort, actually, now for a number of months. They realize, you saw the article just the other day. It was last week, actually, where they were saying, well, here's a list of words that people on the left should not be using, like we should not be using the term Latinx. It rubs people the wrong way, because no Latina or Latino identifies as Latinx. Unless they're extremely woke, in which case you don't have to convince them to begin with because quite clearly they're already on the far left. Everyone else is offended by it. Privilege. Well, maybe you should stop talking about privilege because some poor white person who has an 8th grade education and no future probably doesn't like being called privileged simply because their skin reflects more sunlight than somebody else's skin. That's probably not a great idea if you want to gain voters in those areas. Not that it's going to help you anyway, but, you can always make an attempt. An attempt was made. and so on forth. Wokeness is basically like an albatross around the neck for the Democratic Party. The neoliberals know this. They understand, like the Robert Reichs of the party, the idiots of the party, which are less idiotic than the other idiots. They understand this because they've been doing this for a long time. They're trying to sell a brand to the American people. It's no different than selling them a vacuum cleaner that'll break down every couple of years. It's a pile of horse shit, but that's the way that politics actually works. I hate to tell people this. This is something that pains me to have to mention, but more than half of the population are a bunch of gullible simpletons who are taken in by slogans and taken in by flashy, basically it's like dangling tinsel in front of a cat. They're easily distracted. They're easily fooled. They're retards, basically. That's more than half of the population. I would like to think that clankers are a cut above with regards to intelligence. Thankfully, it seems like that is actually the case. Makes me very happy. But most people aren't like that. Most people read the news article by looking at the title and the subtitle, and they think that they've imbibed the entire news. They have no further time for anything else. So they didn't read down to the bottom of the article where the title and subtitle are completely discredited, even with the context of the self-proclaimed article itself. They didn't read that far. And so they'll try to debate somebody like me that actually read the whole article. I'm like, did you even read the whole thing? Most of the time, no, I didn't. But I know what's going on in the news. I'm an informed voter. No, you're not. Not even close. With Robert Reich, though, he's trying to lead a vanguard to sanitize the language that is used. And this is not the only instance. Just in the last week that I've seen, there have been 3 different stories encouraging the same thing. Now, why would you do this? Let's ask a rhetorical question. Again, I hate that term. Let's ask a rhetorical question. As a political body, why would you seek to openly attempt to dissuade people associated with you from using certain terms and certain language? It's because the terms and the language are polluted. They're holding you back. They're poisonous, in effect. Yes, believe it or not, the use of the term BIPOC angers people. Doesn't anger white NIMBYist liberals, who all are going to vote Democrat straight anyway, but it will anger people from countries where they're like, well, these liberals, it's BIPOC, what's that? Oh, you're saying I'm from Indonesia. You're saying I'm basically the same as someone from Ghana. What the fuck gives? We don't speak the same language. We're not of the same race. We're not of the same religion. We're not from the same continent. What are you talking about? It makes absolutely no sense, and it never has. The liberals are trying to sanitize this. I guess the more intelligent ones, like Robert Reich, if you can give him any credit for anything, at the very least, he's not a total moron in some ways. At the very least, they realize there is a problem. It doesn't seem to register with certain Democrats, though. They don't seem to understand why these terms and usages would be unpopular, and why attempting to take this broader ideology and overlap it onto U.S. culture is unpopular. They just don't understand. So they're trying, the handful of them that are trying to sanitize it, they're counterbalanced 10 to 1 by a bunch of leftoids that want to perpetuate it. Oh, watching this little party civil war is very, very amusing to me, trust me. That's about all. Peace out.